I am so excited about my next guest here on the program. He's a really good friend of mine. We went to high school together. His name is Trent. But since high school, he became a celebrity. He calls himself Mr. Fat Cheeto. You may have seen him online. There he is. Trent, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. Trent Parker and we played football together back in the
Yeah,
day.
I
That's
was
not
a
true,
lineman.
actually. I could probably be his father. But, but if you don't know who Trent Parker is, Mr. Fat Cheeto,
Oh yeah.
you haven't been in the right circles on social media because social media is kind of interesting. Mr. Zuckerberg from Facebook, he's pretty smart. He's like, well, once your friends start watching this, your other friends will. And, so if you're in the home services, which a lot of our mutual friends are, Mr. Fat Cheeto, then everyone's ends up being in the same groups and the algorithms bring people together. So once one person sees the Mr. Fat Cheeto video of the day, if you will, then everyone sees it. And I have to say, I was recently introduced to you at a distance. We were both at Uncle Joe's event, Uncle Joe Crisera, True Grit in
Right.
Vegas. You and I didn't have a chance to chat there. And then a mutual friend of ours, one of my clients, Bruce Gammon, said,
Oh yeah.
Bruce is like, do you know Mr. Fat Cheeto? And I said, why would you call this guy fat? And he said, you know who he is? I said, the guy with that high-end tattoo on his arm. And he said, yeah, that guy, the HVAC, right? And I'm like, yeah, I saw him. So, and he said, well, you got to meet him and you might want to put him on your program. So anyway, there you go.
That's me, Mr. Fat Cheeto in the house.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on the show here.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you here. So I'm sure you've told people many times, the background, the story. Mr. Fat Cheetos almost come out of nowhere. How long have you been doing this?
I kind of started about a year ago in April. Uh, we actually got me and my wife. We got married. She had two kids. I had two kids, and her kids were older, and mine were younger. And they were into the TikTok stuff, and I wanted to kind of connect with them. And I said, "Hey, I can help you out with this video stuff. I can help you make stuff go viral." And they were like, "Yeah, cool." So me and my daughter went and hung out. Uh, my oldest daughter now, and I was like, "Hey, I tell you what." Let me ride on the hood of the car. You drive. We make it like a domestic dispute.
Oh, geez.
And we'll film it and it'll go great. So there I am on the hood of the car, and she starts going slow. I'm like, all right, speed up. We got to really make this look great. So she slung me off the hood of the car, broke my elbow, broke my ankle.
I saw
You
that
know,
coming.
yeah. The so-called viral video only had 100 views. So, anyways, after doing all that, so my wife was like, "Look, if you're going to make videos, be yourself and do something you know." And I'm like, "Okay." So I tried and tried. Then finally, I found my niche, which I was in commercial work for a company in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Southern Air. Um, and I worked there. I'd been doing HVAC for 16 years, so I knew air conditioner work, and plus I'd been around a bunch of wild people throughout the years that had done this work. Like I have a video where I'm spray painting a compressor to sell. I've never done it, but I have seen someone do something crazy like that. So I just take the stuff that I remember and seen, and I started making comedy HVAC videos and some other trades. So
Yeah. It's I have to say it's hilarious. I saw one recently. Um it was making grilled cheese with the knife and the torch. You remember that one?
yes, yes, I've actually I've made grilled cheese. Actually, I did eat that grilled cheese, by the way.
Is that really how it was made? I mean, did
Yeah,
you
I
actually
really
actually
yeah,
torch it?
I got the grill, I mean the torch, and
It came out well. Look good.
but you know where I got that from years ago? You remember the show Home Improvement with Tim Allen?
Of course.
there was an episode where these construction workers were on the show, and they were toasting their bread and stuff, and I always remembered it. And I'd done it a couple of times, just to make people laugh at work, and then I just like, well, I'll put it at a video. So there you go. I don't write any of my content. Literally, I come up with all my content in the shower or driving down the road, and it hits me, and then I'm like, all right, I got something to go with. I'll do it.
When you've worked how you've worked in your past in home service, there are a lot of characters out there.
Oh yeah.
I was telling you a little while ago that I've never worked on that side. I'm
Right.
on a different side where I work with home service to help their businesses, but I've never worked on the side. However, all my clients are in home service, and I know what goes on. That's why there are different levels of home service providers.
Right. Right.
There are some
Yes.
that are truly criminals.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen the criminals.
Yeah. Actually, some that are really ex-cons that can't get a job, so they get into an unlicensed profession, and now you don't know who's coming into your home. And then, but people are on drugs, and they drink, and they beat their wives, and they're spray painting AC parts like compressors. So it's really interesting. There's a lot of material there. I mean, so when I watch your videos, I get it. I mean, and I'm not even on that side, but I know enough. I think anyone would get it, but I think the people who get the biggest charge out of it are people who've been in the industry for a
Oh
while.
yeah.
And they're like, I know a guy like that. I mean, that Mr. Fat Cheeto, that's a real guy. Like,
Oh yeah.
I know people like that.
Oh, absolutely. That's where I guess it relates come. I started relating to people that seen this stuff. And like I said, I went from 100 views, and then 300. Then when I started doing the AC videos, it was like 500,000, 1 million. Now I got like 9 million, and my audience is about 10 million a month.
You're like a
So,
Kardashian. So so you can start peddling makeup and stuff now, or at least wigs. So I almost didn't recognize you today without your getup. So what's the whole wig thing about? It just a big hairy, HVAC guy?
look, yeah, look, I ended up getting that wig for another video that I was just gonna be some redneck guy or something. Anyways, and that's just how Mr. Fat Cheeto got started. And I didn't like the way the wig looked, so I had a Boston Red Sox cap on. I put the Boston's, and then I have a zip tie for a belt. It's a Panduit strap.
Yeah.
And then I got a magic marker and wrote HVAC on my arm, and I was like, I'm gonna be just, I guess, not typical guy or whatever. Just
There are guys like that though, so
there
it's
are guys like
okay.
that though.
And I wouldn't necessarily say you're making fun of any given person, but you are kind of taking a poke at a type of home service
Workers,
individual. Yes.
right? Like a
And
side job Bob guy, Chuck in a
yes,
truck,
Chuck in a truck. That's Chuck in a
right?
truck. The guy that has the magnetic sign that's way worn out askew on his door of his truck.
Right. It's a couple of
Rusted,
dents.
rusted out truck, 1971 F-150, and no teeth,
Oh yeah,
no hair but a ponytail. So
yeah. I mean, it's that guy. I mean, we've all seen that guy, the unlicensed contractor that shows up to your house and could do it cheaper guy. That's the guy, the Craigslist nightmare.
Yes, yes. So unlicensed, uninsured, and but the price is right. And then
Always right.
and then as they roll away, that's the end. You'll never see them again. Okay.
No.
So this comes up a lot. Sweat, purge, and roll. All right. Sweat, purge, and roll. What's that about?
Okay, so actually, back to the video where I spray painted the compressor. I literally I literally brought a compressor, an old compressor, home from work. Got me a can of spray paint. Was just going to film it all by myself. It was actually a hot day, so I was kind of in a hurry. And I was like, I need something, some kind of a slogan to say. something that will stick. And off the top of my head while I was filming, I was like, oh yeah, we're down here. We're going to do a sweat purge and roll, baby. So basically, sweat it in, purge the unit, and then just roll with your money and go. And surprisingly, look, I got sweat purge and roll bracelet on right now. I've sold like about 200 of these things this week.
Like I said, you're a Kardashian.
And I
Yep.
got shirts coming. I'm already pre-sold shirts, but I never thought that sweat purge and roll. And I have another saying, I'm some kind of a HVAC genius. Just it's just the dumbest stuff. My wife's like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know, people. I mean, they love it. So I guess I'm going, you told me to be myself. I guess this I'm being myself.
I think you found your calling, and I'm serious about that. You've got the experience from the industry in HVAC, and now, honestly, you can be an entertainer, and you really are. People want to be entertained. I've been in radio for decades, and even though some of my content is pretty boring, it's home improvement. So I'm talking to a plumber or a roofer or an HVAC guy about stuff. People still want to be entertained when they're driving around town listening to that. So you have to entertain. Now, you're more over the top entertainment because you are a comedian. And
Right.
what's really funny, though, is if people don't know who you are
Right.
and they see your video for the first time, any of your videos,
Right.
they could think you're a real guy, a
Oh
real
yeah.
character. I
I've
mean,
oh
people
yeah.
have seen people like that.
Oh yeah. I've had people think that I was like the character for real. I actually, believe it or not, I have people that contact me like when they see me without my wig. They're like, "Where's your wig? Where's your tattoo at?" Or in public, and they'll see I got a sign on my car that says Mr. Fat Cheeto, and they're like, so yeah, people really think, and I've had like people message me like, "You're a sorry person. You shouldn't do work like this." I'm like, it's a joke, but believe it or not, I have more people that love me than hate me, so that's good.
Well,
Every once in a while, I get that one guy that sends a message like, "You're ruining the industry. You should be ashamed of yourself."
yeah, but no one likes that guy. So
Right.
no, that's the guy that's all by himself in the schoolyard because he
Yes.
just doesn't get it and he wants to be a little too serious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if we can't laugh, especially at ourselves, I know you laugh at yourself, you must. Um, life's too short to be just serious.
Yes.
And we all want to laugh. And there are all kinds of studies that say that laughing releases the endorphins, which gives us a
Oh yeah.
natural high. So instead of shooting up,
Right. Right.
or taking some shots before that next call,
Right. Absolutely.
um, turn on Mr. Fat Cheeto and laugh before you go over to Mr. and Smith's house to fix their HVAC units.
Right. Yeah. Don't do drugs.
No, that's a good message. You have very funny videos. Some are a little disturbing only because they're they're different. So if people don't know what context it's in, it can be kind of disturbing or upsetting. But what I like about it, it's really rated G, so anyone
Right.
can watch it. So it's good for children too, for entertainment purposes.
Absolutely. I don't do anything that, well, how about this? I go to church and I have a wonderful, loving family that, um, I want my mother-in-law to be able to watch my video and still, think highly of me at the end of the day, or people that I go to church with, to not look, frown upon me for that as well, or any person. So I don't use, any kind of bad message like profanity or anything as such in any of my content. I do have a podcast called HVAC Sweat and Purge and Roll. If there is any foul language, I bleep it out. Uh, but I don't use, the language. But in this industry, uh, I just love making people laugh. Actually, that's my ultimate goal. Actually, I get a high off of just, Jim, I can't tell you how many times I've got messages from people like, for instance, this young lady reached out to me a couple of months ago, telling me that her father loved my stuff, and he don't know how to use social media, and she sends it to him where he can watch the videos, etc. Well, anyways, I said, well, I'd like to talk to the guy. She said he'd been in the industry for 40 years. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to talk to the guy. And she said, yeah, call on FaceTime, and I'll put my dad on and he can
Mhm.
talk to you. So I get on there and I was like, hey, I heard you're a fan. That's really awesome. I appreciate it. And he was like, yeah, I did this for 40 years. And recently, something, and he got diagnosed with cancer.
Mm.
And he was like, you really cheer me up, and it really helps me, laugh and stuff when my daughter sends me your videos. And that right there alone is that it's worth it all to me. That right there is everything, just knowing that. And then sometimes, I sit there and I'm like, how am I? People say, hey, I love you, I love your content. I'm like, how? What do you love about me? I'm just a regular guy, but they find joy in the humor. They say, I've had a rough day at work and stuff, and like, hey, I watch your videos and it brightens my day up. I'm like, man, that's awesome. Hey, it's just wild.
Yeah, so I think it's easier for us on this side to see it than you. It's like a lot of people who've honestly who've, come into, recent fame, for instance. They're like, why do people, you know, give me so much attention or think I'm great? You see it on like American Idol and stuff. All of a sudden they're this like, huge celebrity. And people want to be entertained and feel good. When people are commuting to work, not so much now, but certainly years ago, they would listen to the morning show going into work and the drive time show on the way back. And if the morning show was a good show, people would listen to it because it made them laugh, made them feel good about that commute and about having to face work for the day. And that's why we watch the Comedy Channel or whatever. We want to be entertained. So I like to think that I'm kind of a funny guy at times.
Right.
And so sometimes I'll do things in public and my wife will roll her eyes
Oh yeah.
and I'll say, but people are laughing. And she said, well, I know, but it's embarrassing. I said, but when Jim Carrey does it, it's okay.
Right.
And she says, but he gets paid for it. And I said, so if I get paid for it, I can do it? And she said, yes. So you get paid for it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm not rich by no means, but I was able to quit my 7 to 3:30 job and do this full time.
That's
So
fantastic.
I make more money doing this than I did that. So, and plus I've never even traveled before in my life. Hardly. I live in Alabama, and I didn't even get out of the South. And this year alone, I've already flown like 12 times, and I think next month I'm going to California, Virginia, and Utah. So I was in Las Vegas after the True Grit event. I went back to Las Vegas a week later to another event.
I have a feeling you're going to be doing a lot more events. And I think you need to follow your heart and what your brain says as well. You have a gift and you're motivated. Those combined are very powerful. And you're in a niche that no one else is.
Right, right,
And I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And I can see something in you and your model. It's 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 a narrow niche, but it's also very deep. There's a lot
right.
of people who are working out there in the heat in HVAC, but it goes into plumbing and electrical and really any
Oh
home
yeah,
service because it's all relatable. And
right.
even beyond that, I'm sure that regular people who aren't in the industry would find it extremely entertaining. And I'm going to imagine, and I want you to tell me if this is true. I'm going to imagine that since you started doing these videos to current date, you've become more comfortable and more experienced at it. So we'll call it your acting and so forth is getting better, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. even the way I film, if you look at my past videos, when I even started the air conditioner, I've literally just, all right, how's the light need to be? How's the sound? Um, the way I stand or react to something, or when to come in, the timing. Timing is always just like music. Timing is perfect. You know, you got to get your timing right. So yeah, absolutely. And I guess it paid off listening to. I used to listen to a lot of Stephen DC and Rick and Bubba when I was growing up too. So I and I watched a lot of comedy, comedy acts. So a lot of those, I guess I got my training when I was younger, and I just remember things or hear things they did, and I try to not totally copy them, but that's how you learn. So
So Trent,
yes,
yeah, so Trent slash Mr. Fat Cheeto. Would you like me to call you Trent or Mr. Fat Cheeto?
you could call me anything.
Just don't call me late for dinner. Okay.
Yeah, for real.
So let's go back 10 or 15 years. You're out in the field doing
Right.
HVAC work, right? Were you the comedian then in an HVAC guy's body? I say that because sometimes we're misfit. So for instance, I'll explain my history. I started off in the corporate world in sales and marketing, and I worked for big companies. And I really felt like I was misfit. I wasn't in the right place. I was really an entrepreneur and I needed to get out. So I resigned from that world and cold turkey, dropped my paycheck and became an entrepreneur and started my business. And I always knew that though. I always knew I was in the wrong place. It's like someone who was in the closet and then came out, kind of like I wasn't in the right place. Is that you?
120 million%. I've never been asked that question, and you just slap me in the face with it. And
Mhm.
it's like, wow, this guy just opened the window. 100%. I've always knew. I've always knew. Even when I was, what other jobs I had before I did it, I worked at a car dealership. I was like, man, I like to make people laugh, and I like to do this. I've always been the cut up, the goofball. It's like, man, I'd like to be one of these guys. Or so, yes, absolutely. I mean, like even with the company, I've probably spent more time trying to make people laugh than I did work. I wasn't the greatest service technician, by the way. I'll just be honest with
Because
you.
it wasn't your calling.
No, no. I mean, no. I mean, I knew how to fix things, and I didn't do, I did the best of my ability. I didn't do stuff that would tear up people's stuff or anything like that. No, but I wasn't
You didn't
the
burn any houses down, did you?
I didn't burn any houses down. I wasn't the ace that technician. I could get the job, get it fixed, but I wasn't, Mr. Hero technician. But yes, I've always felt out of place. I've
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I tell people to follow their dream. So many people are a dentist because their father and grandfather were, not because they want to be, because
Right.
that's what that's what the family does, or they've inherited that home service business. Grandpa started it, dad's in it. I'm waiting for dad to retire because he drives me crazy. When he retires, I'm selling it because I want
Right.
out, right?
Right.
And so we hear this all the time. Why can't we just do what we want to do? And I applaud you, because when you leave an industry, the job you had in the industry, which is really how you earn money, when you leave that, it's got to be a little scary to go out on your own, because you don't work for a company anymore. You're building your brand. You're self-employed for now, because if you don't show up and do the video, there is no video. If there's no video, you can't monetize it. So
Right.
it's a big step, don't you think?
I tell you what, I had to overcome some fear because yes, I get a steady check. Me and my wife sit down and talked about this, but I had to do something. It was piling up on me. I'm like, I either got to do one or let one of them go. So I weighed I'm like, you can't, I mean, I got to take a chance. I mean, I'd sit there and be like, well, I could have done this, could have done that. So, I
Woulda,
mean,
coulda, yeah.
yeah, woulda, coulda, woulda. So it was stepping out in some faith, that's for sure. Every day that I wake up is stepping out in faith. I don't know what tomorrow brings. I mean, tomorrow this can all be over. or it could be even more. But I'm going to do the best of my ability to make it the best that it can be. I mean, like you said, you got to get up in the morning. You got to do
Yeah,
something. You got to make stuff happen. It's not just going to evolve. So,
exactly.
yes, every day I do get up, and I may not be the most well organized or planned person, but I do every day something to move towards more up, up, up instead of shooting down. So,
I've got some great news for you, Mr. Fat Cheeto. I have got 2 subscribers to my podcast, so we're really going to grow your business through this.
absolutely.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
I love it.
um,
I think one of them is me. I subscribed this morning. So,
there you go. Um, so I watched a video of yours a week ago or so, and at first I didn't know what you're doing. I had to go back and watch it 3 times because I'm pretty sure I saw you physically enter an air conditioning unit with water in it. And I'm like, is is that an AC unit or is that a hot tub? Now, is that fair? I mean, am I explaining it right? I mean, were you not inside this unit with water in it? Or did I see
yes.
something or was I dreaming it?
No, you saw correctly. So I woke up one morning and I said, like my eyes open. It was like in a movie. I opened them up and I'm like, I want to make a hot tub out of an air conditioner. How can I do that? So I got up, went to Lowe's, bought a tarp, lined the inside of the unit with a tarp, cut it to fit where I could put the top back on. I'm like, all right, I got to make it look like it's hot water or something steaming. So I went to Publix grocery store, bought 5 pounds of dry ice, dumped it in there. Only stayed in it for a couple of seconds because my brother's like, "You're gonna get like frostbite." So I just got in there and I was laughing. I should show the video footage of me laughing, but yes, I did make a makeshift hot tub. Actually, I'm looking at it out my window. I have not moved it yet. I need to before my wife just beats me. But yeah, I did make a hot tub out of a AC unit.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Was that AC unit running before you dismantled it, or was it an extra AC unit?
So I have my old boss, his name's Gary. He when I worked for him, he took care of me. And when I left, he was like, "Look, do this. You know, don't let me hold you back. Hey, and the door's always you can walk through this door. You know, your family here. I'm Santa Claus at his family get-togethers. So,
Wow.
but he's like, you can have all the equipment you want to use, old equipment, or you can film at the shop, which I hadn't even filmed at a shop yet, but I have acquired some equipment that was just trash, so I take it and doll it up to make it look for a video. But I have used my own air conditioner for stuff. That's where I grilled the grilled cheese at on my own. But I have a couple of units back there, and I even have a water heater in my backyard I've used as a prop too. So I have a little graveyard tucked away because my wife, she don't want the yard to mess, so I kind of tuck it around the house where nobody can see it. So
Yeah. So I'm going to say this right now because I want to have this recorded. I do not want you to forget about me, Mr. Fat Cheeto, when you become big and famous and you're on the stage in Las Vegas. So you'll go back to Vegas not for a trade show, okay? You're
right.
going to go there because you're going to be up on stage in front of thousands of people doing a live shtick. Do you ever see yourself doing a live stand-up? I mean, I could see the props coming in and out of on the stage. I mean, it's really a show.
Uncle Joe, I had a phone conversation with him about a week ago, and he was like, Trent, you really need to investigate or look to doing your own stand-up show.
Mhm.
He was
He's
like,
right.
people will pay. He
Mhm.
was like, you need to do it. And I'm like, I'll check into it. So yes, I have. Um, I do envision something like that, doing something bigger. And I believe he was right. I believe you're right. I guess it's all a learning thing. Like, okay, what do I do? How do I do it? So every day's also been a learning curve, just trying to figure out, even trying to get more, different sponsors and stuff like that. I've never had to do anything like this. So I'm like, everything's a learning curve.
Sure.
But yes, I can see myself definitely doing stand up or some kind of a live crazy construction show at some point in my life.
So write this down, three letters, AGT, America's Got Talent. It's an NBC program. So, if you go on one of these, gosh, years ago, it's called Star Search, way back. I think that was
Oh,
one
I
of the
remember
first ones.
that.
Remember
Yeah.
that one back when you
Yeah.
were a
Yeah.
kid? So, and you were,
Oh, yeah.
and Ed McMahon from the Tonight Show hosted that program. But in any case, that's kind of where it all started. And they have all of these reality shows where people can be found. And I can I can see you rolling out on stage and having the panel there look at you saying, "What is this?"
Yeah. I'm straight from
And
Alabama.
people would die laughing. If nothing else, you're gonna get some great promo out of it, and your online will go boom. It's like being on Shark Tank. You could be selling any kind of widget, man, and all of a
Oh,
sudden your
yeah.
orders are gonna go up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that would be pretty exciting. It's funny that now people are recognizing me. When I was in Las Vegas the last time, I went to the airport and were like, "Hey, are you Mr. Fat Cheeto?" I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
like, you're looking at him. This is it.
That's
Like,
me.
yeah. You want a picture? And they're like, "Are you really? Can I?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, come on. I don't care. Yeah, sure. Take a picture with me.
You're gonna start charging for your pictures. You see, it's all nice and friendly now with Mr. Fat
Right,
Cheeto. So you need to get your pictures now with Trent, because
right.
when his head gets bigger, okay.
It's pretty big now.
um, First of all, his security detail won't let you near him when
Right.
that happens, and he'll be in that big jacked up Cadillac Escalade, like the ones that the presidents are in,
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with bulletproof doors and glass, and you won't be able to get close to him. So now would be the time to get a hold of Mr. Fat Cheeto. Oh
Yeah.
my
That.
gosh.
Yes.
Trent, I could talk to you all day, but I know you got more videos to do, I'm sure. And I definitely follow you, and I know a lot of our mutual friends do, and hopefully more people will see what we've talked about today, and will watch you, which puts pressure on you to produce more and more videos. How frequently do you produce videos?
Uh, every week's different. I know that sounds. It depends on if I'm traveling or not or anything. When sometimes I just get a spurge, and I'm like knocking out 4 or 5 in one day, and I want to put a mile on one day, and my wife's like, "No, at least do one a day." Um, this week I've only put out, I believe, one or two. Yeah, about 2 videos. So each week's different, but every week I give the audience something, some kind of something. I'm actually working on a behind the scenes video right now, the
Oh,
post. So how everything's made video. So
is it kind of like an outtake thing too, where we can see some bloopers? And what's interesting is the whole thing's kind of blooper-ish, but there's got to be bloopers within the blooper, right?
there is bloopers within the blooper. Actually, the other day, I know, let's see, you may have seen it. There was a video of me in my driveway. I had an air conditioner unit in a shopping cart, and I was supposed to I had the road blocked off. My brother was filming the shopping cart. I was selling a used unit from Craigslist,
Gosh.
and the buggy was supposed to go down the driveway, tump over in the road, and I was still going to put the unit in. No, the buggy went a little bit down the driveway, slammed the unit into my car, dented it, and then tumped over. So
Perfect.
I'm like, HVAC paid for it. I'm like, well, I hope this video goes viral.
Yeah, really. Well, next time you have to make sure that you clear the area, quiet on the set, clear,
Right.
and action.
Right.
So yeah. And on that note, Trent, thank you so much, Mr. Fat Cheeto.
Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely. And if you haven't heard of him, You now have, and you must tune in. And I might be poking you here and there because I want more and more content. So you might be hearing from me. You might unfriend me, but I
Absolutely.
no, I love this stuff, and I can really appreciate it, even from my perspective, not being on that side in the industry. And but I know so many people who are in the trades who just laugh about it. They talk about it. I mean, and they're not laughing at you. They are laughing with you. I mean, you do have a following, my friend. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, man, I sure do appreciate you letting me be on this show. It is an honor. And if there's anything I can ever do for you or any of people you know, just tell them to hit me up. So,
Well, Trent, I might have you come over and work on my AC system, but Mr. Fat Cheeto is not allowed to work on it.
I
Okay?
wouldn't let Mr. Fat Cheeto in my own house.
No, no. Mr. Fat Cheeto is a really nice guy, but he looks incompetent. So there you go. All right, Trent Parker, thank you, my friend.
We'll see you, my friend.
Have
Thank you.
yourself a great day. I appreciate you tuning in with us. Thanks.
Yes.